Hello, it's Matt and Josh from Yousellcomics. Another episode of Slinging Books, talking shop. Yousellcomics is your new multi-vendor marketplace for selling comics, slabs, omnis, trades, and more. Yousellcomics never charges commission on any sale. Sell for as low as $5.99 a month or run your own auctions for $15.99 a month. Sign up now for a 3-month free trial at Yousellcomics.com. Okay, so we're back again. Another week, another news-filled week of comic book related stuff.
Yes.
Josh saw the Batman last night, yes?
I did. I saw it.
Okay, so let's keep it spoiler free because I haven't seen it yet. But was it terrible?
To clear my throat. It was not terrible. It was definitely above average.
Above average.
It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, a lot of people are like, it was like amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was amazing, but it was very good. It was very
How long
good.
was it?
It was 3 hours long.
Oh, it was 3 hours.
Like 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But by the time with previews,
did it feel like 3 hours?
It did not feel like 3 hours. The pacing was very good. I didn't feel like there was any time in the movie where I was feeling slow or anything like that. Like it was dreading on.
Like it didn't drag.
It definitely didn't drag. There was a lot of questionable instances in the movie, small things I guess that I found odd or weird, I guess, in the terms of writing.
Yeah.
The acting was very good among everybody.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright, is that who it is? For Gordon?
Yeah.
It was okay.
What? Jeffrey Wright's a great actor.
I agree.
Oh.
So I will say.
Well, maybe we'll talk about
Colin
more.
Farrell. Wow, so good. He
yeah.
was actually really cool. And the rest of the cast killed it. The suit looked amazing. The car, oh my god! I watched it in IMAX, and my chair when that thing started. Oh, mama!
Oh, does IMAX have the like D-box seats or whatever? That
No, I think they just have really big speakers.
Oh,
so
you know what? So my wife and I finally went and saw Spider-Man last night, and I feel like we could feel the rumble of something in our theater when Batman was playing, like 2 theaters down, and we were in a huge theater, but like at the beginning of Spider-Man when there was just talking and no action scenes going on, our theater was still rumbling from another movie, which I assume was Batman. Or maybe it was Dog, I don't know, but it was probably
not Dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was very loud. There was a lot of it looked and sounded amazing. I will say that. On the terms of the amazing scale versus the just above average scale, the look and sound was top.
There is an IMAX near here. Well, not near here, but in London. I wonder if maybe we should. Is it that much better to see it in IMAX?
You know what I mean. I couldn't
for the hour drive. Well, 2 hour drive.
Hour there. Hour drive, probably not worth it. Not for the gas price now.
Oh yeah, fuck.
So
that's true.
No way.
Okay, so that done with. So first news story. Kraven the Hunter is ramping up with more actors and actresses. Ariana DeBose has been tapped to play Calypso in the Sony Pictures movie, which I have a question about Spider-Man, which we'll talk about later.
Sure.
I feel like we can probably talk spoilerish later, just because
I think I may know what you're gonna ask me.
Okay.
And if it's that, you're 100% right.
Okay, so in the comics, Calypso is a love interest to Kraven, utilizes voodoo powers and magic potions. She wants to control the lizard in one of the Spider-Man's most harrowing battles, Torment. She was in West Side Story, which I've been reading as like one of Spielberg's best, but I don't know that I'll ever watch it because I'm not really a musical guy. But well, that's not true. South Park musicals are great.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't really know if I want to see a white guy like
maybe
dancing around.
Yeah, so after the success of Venom and Spider-Man No Way Home, I feel like they shouldn't put that in the same sentence for success.
No.
Like, those are entirely different levels. Anyways, Sony continues to expand its Marvel Universe. Craven Hunter joins the slate. That also includes Madam Web and Olivia Wilde's Spider-Woman project. Is Olivia Wilde directing that? She's not playing Spider-Woman, is she? I feel like she's probably not the right age to play Spider-Woman anymore.
Uh, oh, yeah, I'm looking.
Anyways, we're just over just less than a year out from, you know, it's slated for January 13th. That doesn't sound like a great release date. Don't they usually dump terrible movies in January and February? Because it's after Oscars.
Yeah, that's usually
And
kind
it's
of a
beginning of the Oscar nomination season, so no one really remembers movies from January, February when they go. Not that
yeah.
Craven's going to be like an Oscar nominee. It's just the release date doesn't bode well.
Yeah, Olivia Wilde is going to direct Spider-Woman, and apparently Jessica Drew is rumored to be Spider-Woman. I don't know who that is.
Wait, but Jessica Drew is the character Spider Woman, not
Oh,
the actress playing. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
see?
I thought Spider Woman was Jessica Drew.
My bad.
Yes. So
It's
they
that
have
version of Spider-Woman.
right. Okay. Next,
So I
some
just
one
talking.
of my yeah. One of my favorite comic book writers is in some trouble. Got in some trouble last week. So he's writing King Conan right now, and he did a story with, kind of a Pocahontas-like character. The story featured Princess Matoka, an American native daughter of a mystical chief who falls in love with a Western colonizer. Before later trying to seduce Conan, with Matoka being the private name that the very real Pocahontas went by. There was considerable disquiet expressed by Indigenous American comic book readers, social media in recent days, the use of the character in this fashion. Yeah, I don't know how Aaron didn't think of this. Like, so
Yeah.
did he look up that name and was like, oh, that's gonna be like an inside thing for just me, of like, I named her after the private name of Pocahontas, but no one's gonna notice. This just seems also weird to me that Aaron
Seems
would write
odd.
that and come up with that name, but then not be cognizant of the ramifications of having
Yeah.
a princess and then falling in love with the Western colonizer. Anyways, he's made amends. He's donating money to. So his apology is, I made an ill-considered decision to give the character the name. A name most commonly associated with a real-life Native American figure, Pocahontas. This new character is a supernatural 1,000-year-old princess of a cursed island within a world of pastiche and dark fantasy, and was never intended to be based on anyone from history. Although you use the name, like,
Yeah. Could literally use
um,
any other name.
right? Yeah, like, don't use. So use. I mean, there's lots of stories, fictional and otherwise, to take. You have a problem there?
Sorry.
Something going on outside with your bright lights? I apologize. Sorry. I understand the outrage expressed by those who hold true the Matoka's legacy dear, and for all of this and the distress it's caused, I apologize. And as part of that apology, I've already taken what I was paid for the issue and donated to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. The character's name and appearance will be adjusted for the rest of the miniseries and in all digital collected editions. So I guess I have a rare copy now of King Conan because it'll be corrected in the second print, I guess. So far it's a good story. Like, I honestly, Jason Aaron's a fairly good writer, and most of the Conan stuff coming out I really enjoy. So
Yep.
I guess he will rectify that.
Sweet.
Daredevil star Charlie Cox hopes to continue exploring Matt Murdock's rivalry with Bullseye in the MCU. I'm totally fine with that. I liked where they were going with Bullseye in the Netflix show.
I agree.
We were talking about how you just said Colin Farrell was great as Penguin. You know what? despite that original Daredevil movie being really bad, I liked him as Bullseye.
I actually did like him as Bullseye too. To be honest, now that I think about it, throughout that entire movie, he's probably one of my favorite characters. Like,
In the Batman, or are we talking Daredevil?
sorry, in Daredevil, but
Oh,
I'll say both.
I read that there is a a fan cut of Daredevil that is significantly better than the original. Well, maybe I'll have to
Be
track that down and
surprised.
watch it. Josh and I are talking about maybe doing some reviews of all comic book movies ever made, including the terrible ones. We may or may not do that. It's a lot of time to put in, but
Could be a summer project. Who knows?
summer, summer
Yeah.
till 2027.
No,
Um,
we'll be locked down for another couple of years at
oh
this
yeah.
point.
So uh, Charlie said, I really like Black Widow, Daredevil, Black Widow stuff. That relationship is really funny to me. I don't know why. I find it really funny and sexy at the same time. Other than that, it's difficult. The obvious one is Spider Man, isn't it? That is the one I would have to get more time with Bullseye. We just touched on that story. So, um, yeah, so I don't know where Daredevil's going to show up next. Maybe
Yeah,
in the Echo series?
yeah, I could see that. Um, when is that even slated for?
Who
Next
knows? They haven't
year?
even started filming it, so
Oh yeah, like who
2024
knows?
maybe. Yeah,
I feel like he's gonna show up way before then.
Daredevil.
Yeah, I
Oh,
feel
could he show up in Moon Knight?
I could see him showing up in Moon Knight. I could see him showing up in She-Hulk. Obviously,
Oh
for the
yeah,
lawyer
She-Hulk. Yeah,
aspect.
you're right. It's gonna be She-Hulk. He'll be
I
in that
mean,
next
it's yeah.
with She-Hulk, with her being a lawyer herself.
The
I'm sure
last
of
things that I've read with Charlie Cox is that he's been told very little about what they're
that.
going
What
to
the plans
do,
are?
but he knows that it's in like the works.
Oh,
So like he's basically been told, get ready because we're gonna need you bouncing around off the walls soon.
how how big of a snub would it be that if they brought back Mike Coulter and um, oh, what's her name?
Uh,
Who played Jessica
Jessica
Jones?
Jones,
Kristen
yeah,
Ritter. How big of a snub would it be if they brought those two back and didn't bring back what's his name as Iron Fist?
I could 100% see that happening. Totally.
That would probably hurt his feelings.
I mean, it would, but like,
I mean,
would we care?
I mean, I wouldn't, but I mean, season two was
I
not
gotta
that it was
watch
a
season
low,
two.
not that it was a high bar of Iron Fist, but season two was significantly better than season one.
Yeah.
But it was a low bar. Okay, Marvel Comics confirms Amazing Spider-Man 900 in June 2022. So, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 is a relaunch. So they're starting Spider-Man over again with the 900 now .1 numbering system.
On
I haven't been I've been collecting this run, but I haven't got around to reading it yet. I
mhm.
still have some missing issues from the run, so I want to kind of read it all the way through when I have it.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess I'm starting a new run again in June or April
There it is.
or
There
May,
it is.
April. Um, so the solicitations don't really lend a whole lot to other than you're not going to believe what is happening in this volume of Amazing Spider-Man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, looks like you might be Tombstone is going to be a villain for a couple of issues.
Pretty cool.
Um, you know, another
Another
Marvel number one to pick up and hoard for a couple of years until they, bring in a character from that run. Okay. Future DC movies will be filmmaker driven and likely more standalone in nature following the Batman. Talking to Deadline, Warner Brothers president Toby Emmerich shared his thoughts on where DC goes from here. The secret of the movie business is quality.
Who's this guy
It's the
talking
best
about?
business strategy for both theatrical motion pictures and superhero movies. The movies don't have to have all the same tone or interlock with other DC movies or have an Easter egg that sets up another film. It's kind of a. Do you really want to take a dig at Marvel, given they're destroying you in terms of money made from. Oh, anyways,
Like,
quality is the most important factor for a studio, and the biggest thing you can do to influence quality is the filmmaker that you hire. When he pitched the first draft, oh, speaking of Matt Reeves, when he pitched the first draft of the script, it harkened back to Batman as the world's greatest detective. He talked about Warner Brothers gangster movies of old and capturing that gangster DNA. The last time I went to a premiere in Allison Tully Hall was 7. You haven't been to you lead a studio and you haven't been to a premiere since 7? Maybe you're a little out of touch. Seems like. And on Tuesday night, Batman reminded me of that. The audience was wrapped. Dude, like,
yeah,
I understand you wanna be choosy with your filmmakers, and Matt Reeves was obviously a great choice. Um,
yeah,
Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman did good and did some really good work on the first one, and not so good on the second one. At least I felt.
correct.
There was some redeeming qualities, but there was also
It
talking
was
about
very,
what movies
uh,
drag, like Wonder Woman
yeah,
2
it was
could
very
have
much a
used like
popcorn flick. I felt with like very little substance, and also, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but that whole thing about Chris Pine being a different dude and Gal Gadot just going on that, like, that's like that was a little. I was looking around. Am I the only one thinking this is kind of weird? And everyone was like, "It's fine,"
yeah, it's fine, it's fine,
and I'm like,
it's
"What?"
fine. Um,
Oh, that's all.
yeah,
So
so I like. While I agree in principle that maybe, maybe like it's is this kind of a dig that Marvel, other filmmakers have said they have freedom with Marvel, and then people from the outside are like, oh, it's just formulaic. They kind of do the same thing within the same sandbox,
yeah,
and they tried to branch out from that with the Eternals, and
I yelled
um,
at.
huh?
I said they tried to branch out with that. You said they tried to branch out with that with the Eternals, and they got yelled at.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fuck.
I liked Eternals. I'm glad I watched it at home instead of in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, it was good in theaters. I enjoyed. It was like cinematically, it looked really good.
Oh yeah,
Sounded really good.
yeah.
Um, I mean, you had to. It was really hard to obviously convey that the fact that these characters are essentially emotionless robots that have learned to be emotional and
Yeah,
feel and do all that stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like some of the characters portrayed that, and then some of the characters kind of didn't. And I enjoyed a lot of the side characters, but I didn't really enjoy like what's his name's main character and the girl
Icarus.
as well. Like she was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, I have seen the criticism that could have been it could have been a lot better as a show, where you could have fleshed out like
Yeah,
what all of these Eternals were doing for the couple hundred years or
yeah,
thousands of years, and how
yeah.
that affected their
That would have been
view of the
rad.
world and personality.
Yep.
Um, with so I don't know, it was kind of a hit and miss for Marvel by choosing I mean, I applaud them for going after Chloe Zhao. Like Nomad was a great movie.
Mm,
And the Russo brothers like knock it out of the park almost every time.
yeah.
Um, whether they have a distinct style or not,
Hmm.
sure. Um, but I don't. I guess suppose it goes back to also with Ant Man and the problems they had with what's his name director who left the project. Simon,
Oh,
not Simon. The guy who
Edgar
did
Wright. Edgar Wright.
Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, Edgar Wright. He had a specific vision for it, and it didn't fit with what Kevin Feige
Yeah.
was aiming for. So maybe they're going to start giving a bit more room to filmmakers, but they haven't really made a truly terrible movie yet, like on the level of DC. I mean, Dark World had a lot of issues. It wasn't like a 10% movie.
Yeah.
There were
No,
some
I
good
mean,
like Loki's in it. You
I
know,
enjoyed. To be honest, I this is a while. I haven't watched it in a while, but I like the second one a little bit more than I like the first one.
the first one's very well. The first one's Kenneth Branagh, so it's very It's very much his style of wanting to be Shakespearean and
Yeah, yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of themes and
yeah,
the dyed eyebrows. That was a misstep, but
tasty.
I don't know. Like the problems I have with Thor 2 or more villain based. Like Malekith was totally wasted.
Mhm.
Chris Eccleston hated doing it. Although he seems to like hate every job he has. He was talking shit about Doctor Who again this week.
Never,
um,
never stops.
yeah, but yeah. So like, if they want to make standalone movies, then sure. But you're confusing it now with okay. So the Batman is not in this universe, but then Flashpoint is in the Snyder verse then still, or it's not.
Has
Like
to be.
be, well, yeah. So and then Batgirl, is that in the universe or not? Like, or is that in the Batman universe and not? It just seems like they're kind of chasing a tail of like
They put in the
they never had a
Batman.
really clear plan of like, okay, so you're gonna make standalone movies, then make standalone movies
Yeah,
and just keep to that, or at least have a narrative or like an explanation of like,
just a
this is
yeah,
DC standalone. This is DCEU. These don't like. There's a clear line.
yeah,
This is this. This is that. Don't take one for the other, and they're never gonna merge.
right.
I don't know. It seems like they. So we have not Black Bolt, Black Adam coming out, and is I assume that's part of Flashpoint
I would assume.
universe,
I mean, I would assume that they're going to try to connect most of these.
and then
Like,
Shazam. I guess it's still part of it, although Shazam wasn't in any of the Justice League stuff. So
but
although
they,
Superman kind of showed up at the end of Shazam 1,
yes,
although it
yes.
wasn't Henry Cavill,
No,
because,
it wasn't anybody.
yeah.
But
So, I don't know.
yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, considering that. Well, I mean, yeah, no, it's tough, right? Because they now that I think about it, they're bridging the TV show, and like I'm not going to say anything, but with Peacemaker,
Yeah.
um, which was for me that was an odd scene.
What, Peacemaker?
Yeah,
Oh, at the end of, at
yeah, at
the
the end,
finale.
yeah, yeah, it
You dicks. Shut up too late. Um,
was weird.
yeah, like, and they just talked about it, and this guy's like, oh, you don't need an Easter egg. Well, what the fuck was that in Peacemaker then?
Yeah, honestly, what the fuck was that? So
That's an Easter egg of, like, giving fan service,
come
which
on,
Marvel and Star Wars has been fairly
doing
great at.
yeah. Well, Star
And
Wars not so much.
what do you mean?
Well, before now, yes,
Oh yeah, no, since yeah, with the TV shows, not yeah, with the
yeah,
movies is a different thing. But with the TV shows and with Dave Filoni and John Favreau, however you want to pronounce it,
fine.
um,
He's a chef.
they've been fairly good at offering fan service while pushing a new
Yes.
story and new characters. So yeah, if DC wants to focus on just standalone filmmaker driven movies that offer a not necessarily a different take, but like a well written, well shot, entertaining movie, then
Yeah.
we'll all be the better for it. Along with that, and we were just talking about Peacemaker, Matt Reeves confirms GCPD series is on hold and has evolved into being about Arkham. The GC Matt Reeves says the GCPD thing, the story has kind of evolved. We're actually now moved more into the realm of exactly what would happen in the world of Arkham as it relates coming off of our movie and some of the characters. It's like a horror movie or a haunted house that is Arkham, which yeah, cool.
Kind of cool. Yeah, I would dig that.
I mean, we already had Gotham for 5 seasons, right, of GCPD with
Yeah.
on was that on WB or Fox? I think it was on Fox, wasn't it?
It was on Fox. Did it move? Did it stay on Fox?
The idea again, and the way that Gotham is a character in the movie, I really want Arkham to exist as a character. You go into this environment and encounter these characters in a way that feels really fresh, And so in our work on Gotham, that story started to evolve and started feeling like, wait, we should really lean into this. And then that's kind of where it's gone. So no more GCPD, I guess. So then, does that mean was Jeffrey Wright gonna play Gordon in the GCPD TV series then?
I didn't read anything about that, but I mean that would only make
Oh.
sense-ish.
Oh yeah, it was. Apparently, it was going to follow Corrupt Cop and would have included Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon.
That's what we get for reading.
Well, some of us have trouble reading. So there's going to be 2 shows, I guess. Well, the Penguin. Well, we know for sure Penguin's getting his own show, and I guess we're getting an Arkham show.
See that?
Whether that's see now, like now, I'm kind of. Is that going to include Harleen as a therapist, where she got her start? Like, what characters are going to be in the Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
Like, is this how you're going to introduce characters to do the next Batman movie? Like, clearly it's going to get a sequel because it's, printing money right now.
Yeah.
But now with Toby Emmerich saying, "Oh, we don't need Easter eggs or to tie everything together." Well, why should anyone watch this if it's not going to tie into? Like, is there a Matt Reeves universe now, and then there's a former Snyder universe? It's fucking confusing.
Well, we have how many Earths in DC? 52.
How many what?
How many Earths in DC?
Oh
52. Yeah. So there's your answer right there.
Okay, continuing with Batman. This was from me yesterday. It's just shy of 250 million, so it's officially a hit. Although it did not beat No Way Home.
I believe by Monday the updated total was 258 million.
Which is still 2 million less than No Way Home. But
which is crazy still.
Yeah, so I guess for now your Batman is Robert Pattinson. And will be for the foreseeable future.
I mean, I don't know. I can only see...
so
I can only
so
see
with Keaton coming back, Keaton is apparently going to be in Batgirl.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they're putting him in Batgirl too. So it's
now we have 2 Batmans in 2 different universes. Okay, so another reason why Fox was a terrible studio for X-Men. It's no secret that the disgraced filmmaker Bryan Singer banned comic books on the set of his first X-Men movie. So the franchise rarely embracing the source material is very surprising. This culminated with Dark Phoenix, which I still haven't watched. Did you watch it?
Awesome.
Only to drop the ball and damn near kill the franchise before the rights reverted to Marvel Studios. As great as Hugh Jackman was as Wolverine, the actor was quite a bit taller than the... Almost every actor is taller than the comic book. He's like 5'5", 5'3". Like, he's super small in the comics. Ultimately, that's a change that we could live with. But X-Men writer David Hayter has now revealed another major alteration the studio hoped to make way back in 2000. One of the proudest moments I had in the first film was when I was called into one of the producers' offices, and they said to me, "Hey, can we just find Wolverine in Alaska instead of Alberta and make him American?" I knew this was coming, but I was ready for it. Like, he already knows that that's going to be a stupid thing the studio asked for. So I told them everybody knows that Wolverine is Canadian and the fans will kill you. That's 100% true. It would have the early internet would have fucking lost their minds if they had changed Wolverine from Canadian to American. I had no power in the situation, but I stood my ground and he stayed Canadian. I don't like to call myself as a true Canadian hero. But I'll leave that to others. The writer who might actually be best known for voicing Solid Snake in the Metal Gear video game franchise would go on to pen the X-Men sequel, Zack Snyder's Watchmen. David Hayter, that's the same guy? It's not 2 different guys? He did the voice of Solid Snake? I had no idea that was the same guy.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
As for why his tenure with the X-Men ended there, he added with that we all got fired up after X2 because Fox wanted to reach some arbitrary date, and we got that terrible fucking X-Men Last Stand. Yeah, so at least he saved one thing. Like, say we will about the horrible person that is Bryan Singer. X-Men 2 still holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
X-Men 1 not so much, but X-Men 2 still holds up.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, so now we're gonna cover the cover price top 10 and keys coming this week to your local comic book shop. So we'll go to Marketplace's cover prices marketplace right now. Okay, so still Avengers from the Illuminati first appearance is still in the top 10.
Yeah.
Bodies is now in the top 10. That got optioned by Netflix, I believe. Avengers Forever, number 3, which has the first appearance of the female version of Moon Knight. There's also another Moon Knight in here, which I think people are saying that that's the first appearance of Mr. Knight.
Yeah, would
Nope,
make sense.
that is not it. That's actually the new one from this week. There must be it's got a cameo appearance. Okay. There's some Daredevil Women Without Fear, which is Elektra. It's a new series with Elektra being Daredevil. She took over the mantle in Daredevil 25 from last year. 2 years ago. And number 1 is Batman, the Long Halloween Special Edition. The Batman IMAX promo. Oh, did they give you one?
No.
No. Okay. I wouldn't even know how to get that. But so that's that. I can tell you that Avengers number 3, Avengers Forever number 3 is up for sale on Yousellcomics. I saw that. So if you want to go buy that, do it now before it goes away. Mm-hmm. So that's the top 10 for this week from Cover Price. This week in your local comic book shop, appearing tomorrow, Star Wars Han Solo Chewbacca number 1, first appearance of Keltana, first appearance of Buck Vancto, a martial hunting Han Solo, first appearance of Ovan. I think it's a new limited. I think this is limited series. I think it's only 5 issues, but don't quote me on that, please. This doesn't say. Star Wars Crimson Reign 3. That's the cover. That's a variant by Raza. It's part of the 5-issue connecting cover featuring the Knights of Ren.
Ooh.
Punisher number 1. So Punisher number 1 is on here twice. I saw this one is the timeless variant by Alex Ross, which I have all the timeless variants that he did 2 years ago. I didn't know he was coming out with a new one. Little Monsters. They are the last. They're the last children on Earth who also happen to be vampires.
Perfect.
Living amongst the ruins of humanity. That might be interesting.
Could be cool.
Which, by the way, we were talking last week. Oh yeah. So last week we were talking about Loaded Bible. The is that gonna work with the thing? No, it's not. You can kind of see it.
All good.
Maybe not. Anyways, so it was Loaded Bible, Blood of My Blood, the Jesus clone vampire hunter.
Yes, we did.
It was pretty good.
Sweet.
Radiant Red number 1, first solo of Radiant Red. So there's continuing to expand that Radiant Black universe. Red Room trigger warnings number 1. So just be careful, I guess. Volume 2, 4-issue limited series. Spawn 327 variant cover from the homage to Spider-Man number 1 from 1990. We Live, Age of Palladians number 1. Batgirls number 4, first appearance of Spellbinder. Batman 1056, which has a variant of, it looks like Harley Quinn. Yeah, they've been doing this weird, using actual people in character on the cover the last couple for Shadows of the Bat. Batman Urban Legends number 13, first appearance of the Super Pets, led by Ace the Bat Hound.
Nice.
There is a TV show, a cartoon coming called The Super Pets, I believe.
Yes, there is. Keanu is voicing
What?
Batman.
Keanu Reeves is voicing Ace the Bat Hound?
No, he's voicing Batman.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, little update there for you.
Yeah. Naomi number 1, premiere issue of the second 6-series issue. Trial of the Amazons number 1, 2-issue limited crossover series that will feature all current Wonder Woman titles and characters. Oh, okay. Black Panther number 3, second printing. Captain Carter number 1, first appearance of Captain Carter in comic books. Here's Punisher 1 again. Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse, Star Wars Crimson Reign 3, Origin of the Archivist, Strange Academy, Thor 21, second printing, Thor 23, conclusion of the God of Hammers story arc. Timeless gets a third printing. That's great. It was a good one-shot story with Kang. Venom number 6, Venom vs. Spearhead. It is International Women's Day. I found out yesterday because I saw an ad for it in front of Spider-Man No Way Home, and then my wife said like, "Oh, it's actually today." And I told her
bless all those women, every single one of them. Bless them.
I also told, given the Daredevil thing, I said there'll be none of that going on in this house today. Women of Marvel, anthology of stories featuring female characters told by female creators. And then 10 Deaths and 10 Lives of Wolverine. Marvel's teasing 10 Deaths of Wolverine as a major turning point for the X books. Not sure what that will be. And this is a cool cover with like a combination of Wolverine and Omega Red.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Although he's got his bone claws, kind of, instead of the adamantium tentacles. Very strange. So along with that, for spec this week, key collectors and cover price, there's 2 new things coming. Well, so iconic Star Wars novel, which is Heir to the Empire, which was written by Timothy Zahn back in early 90s. I read it when I was a kid. But in that, they introduced Mara Jade. Do you know any of this?
No, the name sounds familiar, but I don't remember the...
So in the expanded universe, Mara Jade ends up becoming Luke Skywalker's wife.
Right, yes. That's why.
And there is a report that she may be included in the Ahsoka series somehow.
That's tasty.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. This leads to so many other questions. But so we're taking the Gazette reports, the Science Fiction Gazette. It says that's Sci-Fi and Fantasy Gazette. We're taking this with a pinch of salt, but Geekosity claims an adaptation of beloved novel Heir to the Empire, set to be the first Star Wars movie made. Whoa, sorry, movie. I thought this was going to be. Okay. It won't be a direct take on Timothy Zahn's book, but is expected to serve as a climax to the current era of TV shows that encompasses the likes of The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. So I read that wrong. So it looks like they might be making a movie to tie everything of the 2 series together at the end, and then be like, shit.
Okay.
It's been clear for a while now that these small screen stories are building to something, and Ahsoka promises to serve as a direct sequel to Star Wars Rebels. In that series, Ahsoka Tano's hunt for Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger looks set to continue, with Sabine Wren joining her. The site was actually the first to break the news. The plans for Thrawn in live action way back in 2019. Later, the villain received a mention in The Mandalorian, where it became clear he's back from wherever Ezra took him and pulling the strings in the galaxy far, far away. So, speculation has now run rampant that Mara Jade, who's part of Heir to the Empire, will end up in... Obviously, like this says, there'll probably be some changes to her character. I mean, I guess they could totally retcon Last Jedi and give him a wife, and
they could. I mean, They
although,
can do anything they want.
I mean, they know what happened last time a Jedi got a wife. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I suppose this could tie into um, Luke offering Grogu the choice and him choosing his friend, and then that leads to the idea that the dogmatic laws of the Jedi, like not caring for anyone, was their downfall. There's been speculation about that, like he's testing that kind of theory with Grogu. Um, I don't know. Like it could
That
be
would be
good.
nice. That would be a nice way to go about it.
Yeah.
Um, but I, I don't know. We had talked about this very briefly. Obviously, the end of Mandalorian spoilers. Uh, I didn't enjoy the way that they handled the end of Luke dealing with Grogu.
You did
So
it.
I didn't. I wasn't overly stoked.
Really?
Just like with the last episode, like obviously he chose, but he chose. But we didn't get any of that. We didn't get, you know what I mean? We didn't get a talk. We didn't get nothing. All we got was a space Uber directly to the fight. No questions, no answers. Let's go. And that was it.
Well, so I kind of thought that that would be like. So in Empire, Luke takes off to help his friends and stop his training.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured like, okay, this is a test for Grogu, but Luke will take him back because Luke did the same thing to Yoda
Yes.
and realized that it is it's better to care for people in your family than to not. So
Yes.
I get that that's like a weird open-ended question that people might not like the conclusion of, but I still think it's open-ended. Like I don't think that's I don't think that's the finality of Grogu and Luke and his training. At least I'm not like I
Okay.
still think it's open-ended. I don't think that's a definitive answer yet.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. Sweet. Hey, I'm for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're gonna spec on Mara Jade, not that this is easy to show right now. Or if I just turn off my can I turn off my background? Uh anyways, I'll put it in the up here, but it's Star Wars Heir to the Empire #4, Dark Horse Comics. That's kind of yellow. But yeah, so that's last I saw was going for about I think $80 on eBay as a spec book for raw, but I don't quote me on that. I'm sure it's higher by now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's exciting news, and also for spec books, oddly enough, because it's based on a video game. God of War TV series reportedly in talks at Amazon. A new report has suggested that Sony is currently in talks with Amazon to develop a TV series based on the beloved PlayStation franchise of God of War. Franchise which first began on PlayStation 2 in 2005 has gone on to receive numerous sequels, most notable of which happened to be in 2018 reboot that was simply titled God of War. There's a sequel coming slated for I think September. It looks like the leaks might suggest of Ragnarok,
Yeah.
which continues the story of the God of War from 2018, and Atreus, that whiny little kid. um, and yeah, so there's not a lot of spec to go with this for comics, but there was a Wildstorm 1 through 6 set that came out with God of War 3, which was panned terribly. Like if you look at the Wikipedia page for it, the critics.
Mm.
Let's see if I can find it. I think it was this one. Yeah. So received mixed reviews. Mike Murphy of Platform Nation stated that although the comic series serves as a good prequel to the video game series, the story is bogged down by horrible art. It's muddy, confusing, and consistently pulls you out of the story as you try to figure out just what's going on from panel to panel. Yikes. And Joe Juba of Game Informer said, if you have a choice between reading this comic and doing something else, you should do something else. Yeah, so that was the Wildstorm 1 to 6. Dark Horse came out with issues 1 to 4, telling the story of what happened between God of War 3 and the God of War reboot in 2018. So if you're going to spec on any of that stuff, like, so they haven't announced really, because this is just like speculation that they're in talks, you don't really know which one to go for. Like, are they going to do Greek mythos? Or are they going to do Viking mythos? Like, I feel like Viking mythos is so hot right now with Vikings Valhalla.
So hot. So
hot. But yeah, maybe pick both of them up. I don't really like. Personally, I would like to see the Viking mythos, and honestly, Christopher Judge should just be Kratos.
Yeah,
like he's a giant guy, and they can just do the ash and make him white, and it'll probably work with because he's African American, but just get like he's just like. I loved him in Stargate, so I've been a fan of Christopher Judge as Teal'c for however many years. But him doing the voice of Kratos, just like he's Kratos, so he's a good actor. Just
he's great.
Yeah. Someone said to me, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, it's got to be The Rock."
What? No.
No.
He can go do Jungle Cruise too. It's fine.
Yeah, and he's already Black Adam, so he's already one god.
It's a break.
I don't really know who else could play Kratos though. It certainly depends on what mythos they're doing. I feel like it's a different Kratos for Greek than it's for the Greek mythos. Although it doesn't have to be. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like a heavy-faced dude.
Yeah, but
like I almost feel if like Ron Perlman wasn't Ron Perlman, he could
wasn't
do
75.
It. Yeah, that too. I mean, maybe Josh Brolin, but he's played too many fucking characters already. He's giving me a break. Need a break.
You don't think they got to go young with it though, like
Younger,
30s? I get so that depends, right? Like,
yeah. He
has a young family in the Greek mythos, but in the Viking mythos, Atreus is already Atreus is the kid's name, right?
I think so.
I don't know. I just remember it being called Boy a lot. Boy.
Yeah.
He's like 11 or 12 or 10. He's like so. You would expect him to be like probably mid 30s if they're doing Viking mythos.
Yeah,
maybe
I guess. Yeah.
20s if they're doing Greek.
It's tough.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions, let us know in the comments below of who you want to see us play Kratos. So this also goes along with the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us. Which, speaking of comics, and I forgot to put this in, there's a trailer that came out for DMZ with Rosario Dawson's based on the comic yesterday. And I'm like, oh, this is The Last of Us already. They're getting it out before The Last of Us actually comes out. But, yeah, one's not a pandemic or a virus going around. That's The Last of Us. But this one is, yeah. DMZ looked good too. And I believe that's also by, who's the director on that? DMZ. And,
oh, it's so funny. I just literally read it today. You're already typing it in, so it's fine.
Did you watch the trailer?
No, I didn't.
Benjamin Bratt looks fucking ripped.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think he's the villain in it, and Anna
it.
DuVernay is the executive producer, and
I
feel like she directed some of the episodes too. But yeah. Yeah. So
nice.
HBO is continuing with that stuff. And Amazon wants to compete, just like Amazon's trying to compete with everything else.
Yep.
And also, I don't know if this is off comic topic related, but Amazon's biggest hit show now is Reacher, and I'm totally on board with that. It was great.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to.
Okay, Spawn film progress is getting hot and heavy, says Todd McFarlane, and he's been saying that every year for the last 20 years.
Stop! I believe it this time.
Dude, he's been trying to do a new Spawn movie for it feels like since the first one came out in theaters, like day two. It's like,
He's
gotta
got
do a new one.
he's got Jamie Foxx's reading. We're rolling.
I thought his vision of this was more of like it wasn't really about Spawn. It was about the idea of Spawn. Like Spawn was going to be like kind of a horror character, like not really showing up until the end, kind of thing.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. So while speaking with comicbook.com, McFarlane gave fans an update on the latest Spawn film in production. Latest Spawn film in production, yeah. Because there's going to be another one after this. When asked about the status of the project, McFarlane said that he was meeting with others involved in it shortly after the interview. Despite not having any details to offer regarding the film, McFarlane did comment on the latest. This doesn't say anything. He's like, "Oh, we're having a meeting. Stuff is happening." Like this is not. That's not a very satisfying answer, which is essentially what I'm saying. McFarlane empathized with
That's too
fans.
bad.
This is a nothing. Like, we're working on it still.
That's a fluffer.
Okay, more
Too
Batman
bad.
stuff. What?
Oh, just too bad.
Oh,
It was just fluff. Too bad. It's too
so I guess do we already have? This seems really soon for Batman to come out on Blu-ray. Is this legit?
bad. It's
So according
speculation.
to CBR, Batman's digital release date was June 13th. Although I suppose that's about 90 days after, right?
Uh,
March,
yeah, if you
April, May.
scroll down,
Yeah,
actually,
it's about a 90-day window after it's done in theaters ish. Um, While the Batman has only recently hit theater screens around the world, its Blu-ray 4K UHD release date may have already surfaced. The film's Blu-ray copy appeared on retailer Zavi's UK site for pre-order with a release date of June 13th. It should be noted that no official announcements have been made regarding the Batman's home media release. I wonder if like companies like this who sell pre-orders are just like, you know what? Let's put up a pre-order date so
uh,
we get people to the site, and then we'll get news about it
I
instantly.
feel like, yeah,
Because
sometimes,
conspiracy
100%.
theory. Uh,
But if you see there in the second paragraph that they think that's going to release on HBO Max on April 19th.
April 19th, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even have to go to the theater for that then. We've been streaming a little over a month after its release in theaters. Really, that's different than Marvel. Like Marvel could have done that with Spider-Man, and it's still playing. Like so, when Kate and I went last night, we thought when we first got tickets, we were like the only two people. We thought we were gonna be the only two people in the theater, and
Yeah.
there was actually like there was like 15 people.
Still a lot for a movie that's been out for what,
3 months
3 months?
almost, right? December, January, February, and now we're in March.
That's crazy.
Yeah. While criticized for its near 3 hour runtime, the Batman has been generally well received, with many praising Pattinson's portrayal as Batman. Yeah. Um. No, I'll probably go see it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Um. The Boys, Anthony Starr arrested on drunken assault charges. Well, why wouldn't Homelander beat up people for no reason?
Yeah, so to make it short and sweet, he basically uh, got into it with this person at a venue, uh, eventually throwing a glass at them or something at
Oh,
their head. He was hammered beyond belief and shouted, "Don't you know who I am?" So, put two and two together, but it's not the greatest of situations for Anthony.
yeah. um. So he's ordered to pay a fine, $7,855, and a suspended prison sentence. Oh, he was hanging out with Guy Ritchie. Oh, well
Yeah,
then.
so funny.
Yeah. So he is sorry for his
Yeah, he's really
violence.
sorry, but we'll see what happens. I feel like he's gonna get something's gonna happen,
Okay,
but we'll see.
Batman audience member. A lot of Batman this week. Batman audience member shares video of their bat infested screening. One fan seeing the Batman posts a video on social media showing real bats joining moviegoers. Uh,
Yes.
Fans attending a showing of the Batman were surprised by unannounced guests. Posted on Twitter, where moviegoer reveals that their showing featured actual bats flying around the theater. It appears that the unannounced visitors interrupted the showing, being that the film was paused during a scene early on featuring the tweet is going on.
So yeah, the
I'm at the
bats are just flying
Batman
around. I
movie.
think they
Oh,
released like one or two.
There are bats in the movie.
Pretty good.
uh, that's gotta be like in a southern state, right?
I'm not
Given that
sure,
it's
but
winter here.
somebody just released. Somebody did. They said that they watched somebody walk into the theater and just open a box, and it just flew out.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, yeah, yeah,
god.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. Oh, too good.
Wow. Okay. Well, so that's it this week for Slinging Books Talking Shop. Um, we'll be back next week with more news, more spec, more top 10 marketplace stuff, and yeah, we'll talk Spider-Man spoilers next week, maybe. Give me a chance to process it.
Ooh,
Uh,
yeah.
okay, well, I've been Matt, he's been Josh, and this has been Talking Shop, Slinging Books, etc., etc. Anyways, have a good night.
Thanks.